Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about the CPB, or the Certified Professional Biller Credential Explained. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue. I'm a medical coder. I have been a medical coder for over 10 years. This question has been coming up a lot lately. Blue, I want to get my medical coding credential, but I think I should get my medical billing credential as well. What are your thoughts? So a lot of them are asking about the CPB, which is offered with the American Academy of Professional Coders. I will read from their website the description of this credential, but I also want to say this first before I get into this. These are my opinions. This is what I know based on my experience in the industry. I say things in a very straightforward way. This can be a little surprising for some people, but I want you guys to know that I say things not to discourage you from doing whatever it is that you want to do, but I want you guys to know that these are the things that in the real world people don't actually say. And sometimes they don't say it because they think, well, I'll just let them figure it out. Well, I'm here to tell you guys that I'm going to share everything that I know. And if that means it's something that you didn't want to hear, well, anyway, but here we go with the explanation of what the CPB is. All right. So the Certified Professional Biller Credential prepares medical billers with skills to maintain all aspects of the revenue cycle. Without expertise in medical billing and the nuances of payer requirements, healthcare provider reimbursement may be compromised. Validate your experience. Through rigorous examination and experience, CPBs have proven knowledge of how to submit claims compliant with government regulations and private payer policies. They follow up on claim statuses, resolve claim denials, submit appeals, post payments and adjustments, and manage collections. The CPB medical billing credential is vital to the financial success of the professional healthcare services claims process. CPBs have demonstrated an understanding of various insurance plans, expertise in applying payer policy, limited coverage determinations, LCDs, and national coverage determinations, NCDs, for successful claim submissions. Knowledge of CPT, ICD-10-CM, and HCPCS Level 2 coding guidelines. Successful navigation of healthcare industry rules and regulations, including HIPAA, False Claims Act, Fair Debt Collections Act, and the Stark Law. And understanding of the life cycle of the medical billing claim and how to improve the revenue cycle. Expertise in effective claim follow-up, patient follow-up, and denial resolution. So that, with all of that said, when I recommend, and I've said it in previous videos, when I recommend the CPB, it's if you have your own business, like your own medical billing business. This is not to say that you absolutely have to have this if you are a medical biller and you have your own business, because there are several medical billers out there who have their own businesses and they don't have credentials. It goes to show you that you do not have to have a credential to be a medical biller. You just have to have experience, and you have to be very detail oriented when it comes to knowing the rules and submitting claims and such. So because of this being said, I want you guys to know that when a lot of times when these additional credentials, these specialty credentials are being marketed, right? They're being marketed in a way that's like, well, it'll increase your earning potential, and you'll have all of these impressive credentials after your name, and it's going to make you look more attractive to employers. The thing is, with employers, and especially with medical coding, they just need one credential. You really all you need is one credential, unless you're doing something specialized like auditing and things like that, or clinical documentation improvement, where they do have those other specialty credentials that they sort of look for. And you can look in the job listings, and I do have a whole playlist about job listings explained, where I talk about actual real life job listings and how they're not asking for billers to be certified. So I want you guys to think about those things. When you get additional credentials, you have to maintain them with continuing education units. And if you haven't gotten a job yet and you have not one but two credentials, that's that's more credentials that you have to get the continuing education units for. And I know it's a different amount, and it's a different amount with AAPC. It's a different amount with AHIMA, the American Health Information Management Association. So it just depends, but it's going to be more. And continuing education units cost money. They're not cheap, and a lot of times you can find free ones. And I probably should put together an episode about CEUs, but a lot of times you're going to have to pay a small fee, or sometimes you pay like a little bit more, and it's a little bit more expensive. But when it comes to having credentials, you have to be able to maintain them by getting those continuing education units. A lot of times this is a benefit of employment, which is great. But if you haven't, like I said, if you haven't gotten employed yet, it could be an issue. All right. So I want you guys to think about what you're doing when you're getting these additional credentials. If you're getting the additional credentials for the purpose of, well, I have experience in clinical documentation improvement, I want to increase my earning potential by being a CDI, then that is something that is completely different, because that is a specialty credential that people are really looking for, because that takes skill. Billing does take skill, but a lot of times you're being trained wherever you're going, because like I said, different areas, different rules. And I mean, this is stuff that you're going to learn on the job. So to think back to investing wisely in your education and your professional development, you have to really look at what is going to benefit you in the long run. Having additional credentials is going to cost you more money. It's going to cost you more time, because you have to sit here and do the additional continuing education units for the additional credentials that you really don't need. All right. And again, I'm not trying to discourage anybody. I really am not. I'm just telling you guys the truth about, is this really needed? And again, it's like you have to really kind of think about what you're doing. If you want to be a biller, just a biller, you don't want to be a coder, then go for the CPB if you're going to have your own business. Or then again, don't do it at all and just go into business for yourself. I mean, there's plenty of options out there for you. But that is one thing that I want you guys to know. When it comes to the billing, I mean, like I said, it's the great thing about billing is that they're very vital to the medical coder, right? They're cousins, like I've said. Billers and coders are cousins, and they have to work together, right, in order to complete the whole cycle. They are at the forefront of the end of the line, right? They're the ones that's submitting to insurance companies, the billers are, and they're the ones on the front lines taking care of these patients as far as like getting their bills paid and things like that, so that the facility can get money or the doctor can get money. So there's a lot of cohesive teamwork that needs to happen, right? But it's just about being part of a team and, knowing what the rules are. And it will come with time, all of that knowledge. If you want to get the training, great. But I'm telling you guys, the credential, you really should consider the credential before you take it, before you take these additional credentials. And like I said, again, it's not to discourage you. But if you have a bunch of credentials after your name, let it be for things that are going to propel you forward in different directions, as far as like different heights of being in the HIM field, right? That's what you want. You want credentials that are going to be like really worthwhile. There's the auditor credential, and again, there's the CDI credential. So those things are very important. Auditors are really important, right? And then, but you can still have just a regular CPC and still be an auditor. I've been audited by many CPCs. All right. So really all it takes is just the one credential and then you're good. But it's entirely up to you guys. As I said, I say things straight. And a lot of times when people are asking me about these things and they're brand new, these people are brand new and they're thinking that this is what they need to do. You guys don't need to do that. Make things simple on yourself. And the health information field is already complicated enough. Do not make it more complicated for yourself, because it's, again, going to be more expensive for you. And I am the type that says I want to get things done as cost effective as I possibly can. And that's what I want to pass on to you guys. That's what I want to share today. Anytime you know things and you want to share these things, you should. As medical coders, we should share. Even if you are a student and you learn something, you should share with your fellow students. And that way, you never know what somebody else knows. All right. But keep in mind, sometimes people don't always take it the way that they should. Although I really wish that culture would change. And so that's why I want to be a part of that change in culture by sharing this information. So anytime I do come out with some new information or whatever, something that I find, I like to share it. I did find justcoding.com. It is a really good website. And if you sign up for a free subscription, they do have access to free quizzes and articles on their website about medical coding. So I will leave that link down in the description box below. I put it in the community tab, but if you haven't had a chance to see it, it is a really great site. And now I went and I completely nerded out on the free quizzes. I was taking them and I was having a lot of fun. I was like, oh, flipping through the book and things like that. So it was a lot of fun. But I'm just saying, and this is not an ad for Just Coding, but Just Coding is really awesome. And I see them every year when I went to conference. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go this year because it's virtual, but whatever. And when I go, I like to go. That's why I want to go, because I'm going someplace, Hopefully, the conference will be back on next year, so we will see what happens. AHIMA is supposed to be in Houston next year, so we will see if it will actually be in Houston next year. So if it is, then I'll be in Houston next year, next October, I think it will be. But very sad. This is the first year I haven't been since I broke my rib a few years ago. That was the one, LA was the one conference that I missed. Yes, I know I'm veering off topic, but anyway, getting back to the CPB, like I said, get it, don't get it, but those were my thoughts on it. And like I said, just make things as simple for yourself, especially in the beginning. When you're brand new, just get one. And sometimes people will ask me, well, should I get credentials with both? If you're going to get the CPC, if you're with AAPC, then just go with that. If you're with AHIMA, there's no need to go to get a AAPC credential as well, because you already have your one credential. So whatever credential you decide to get, look in your area to see which credential they're asking for the most. All right, so that may help you as well to decide if you are unsure which credential to get. But like I said, choose very carefully when you are looking for these additional credentials. And that's just my advice. All right, so this one is a little short today, but that's pretty much it. That's all I got for today. But I will be back tomorrow for Q&A Tuesday. So many questions. Thank you guys so much. And Letters to Blue, I'm actually able to film 2 whole episodes of Letters to Blue, which will be also premiering this week. On Thursday, Letters to Blue will be on. And thank you guys so much for everybody who has submitted a letter or a comment that I can add to the episode. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. So if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye.